you fucking mega mole. You fucking mole. Alright, you fucking mole. Fuck. And then she hit it. What? Incorrect. Where's the manager? I demand to speak to the manager.
Teenage Mutant licensed music. Don't think we can play it. Get in trouble.
They came for my thumbs. They came for my thumbs.
I was gonna ask who owns it, then I remembered it's fucking Nickelodeon now.
Yeah. And they... Nickelodeon's a wild beast. Of
is Nickelodeon owned by something? What fucking squids?
I honestly wouldn't know. Let's look up Nickelodeon.
Because it might be its own little fiefdom these days, but I don't know. Vernon's views. Way to go, Vernon. I do love how much this is like the old cartoon. Not only are the modern things that are confusing and upsetting to me. So,
Yeah, they...
When they make it go like weird CGI, I'm a bit
I'm
a bit odd.
Yeah.
Because like we have animation. It exists. Like I understand you made this in a Korean sweatshop for $1.
Bebop's beat.
But you know.
It's there's a, you know.
Paramount.
Paramount. Oh, okay. Are they themselves or are they also part? I think they're one of the squids.
Lordy, Paramount.
It's like the
Paramount Global's one of the biggest.
Yeah, it's like the last duel is Disney versus Paramount.
Job-breaking news.
I mean, Paramount Plus is yet to get the Grammarverse and
Which one of you owns the rights to Kelsey Grammer? Not his work.
him.
Yeah.
Like I know someone who owns the right to his mullet. Revenue. Revenue
Kelsey
for
Grammercy.
For revenue for 2021, 28.59 billion.
I wonder what they
They
spent
have
that on.
58.62 billion in assets.
I suppose they did buy like the WWE network for hilariously overpriced.
Yeah. It's more of, I guess, you know, you've got to put your finger in as many pies as you can in case one of those pies happens to birth a multi-glomerate.
That's the thing
Pie
about,
child.
yeah, the thing about investment is like, the fundamental flaw with the concept is there are things that are expressly good that will not succeed. Like, so you can be smart, you can invest using your brain and using every fucking bit of fucking sense you've got, and still you'll lose.
Yeah.
And when you've got $1 bajillion, you don't really need to care. You just put X amount in Y.
And
I bet those Foot Clan working at the computers, one guy doesn't have a fucking keyboard. They're producing listicles.
this is the office of BuzzFeed, I see.
Yeah. The sad thing about BuzzFeed is when it does have an actual journalism wing, which is decent. And when it started, the whole goal was like long form essays. I remember I've read like the first, it was literally like, we're gonna do like long form fucking essays again. And they still had that. And some of them were legitimately really interesting. But then it's just like, you know. There's a reality. I found out that Raphael could do the German suplex, which is good. Because I tend to rate a lot of these brawlers by whether or not they can have a functional grapple in them. Because a lot just don't bother. A lot is just like, oh yeah, it's just fun with hurt boxes. I do love like the touches, like, because this is very much the 89 series and all the like the foot in the background doing shit. Like,
I gotta say, I enjoyed. So this is us playing. We played co-op, recorded in the other room because we're in El Hauso Ghetto at the moment. Haven't got everything set up.
it's not even ghetto. It's just that like,
Well, it's just okay.
a single man lives here and it's fucking depressing.
Well, single man, woman now, but
Yeah, but you haven't tied it up yet, have you?
I've tied it up my face. See, I hung the Zelda picture in the bathroom.
I mean, you haven't improved the fridge.
I don't need no fridge.
You came home and just put like more fucking energy drinks next to the fucking other energy drinks. This is like, I look after myself. You know, I don't live in squalor.
No, I look after myself. I eat a very, you know, not wet diet.
Oh no.
I don't have wet food. I'm not.
I was about just little sachets
I'm on the
that
dry
say
food at the
Amber
moment.
Chow.
Yeah. No, see.
Oh, that's a good.
Because I'm just. I have because of the gourd. I'm still just. I'm bemoaned to eat
You've really
anything, so I'm just eating like rice.
No, you've really got to like challenge the surgeons. Like, all right, look.
Hey, look, I ate
shit.
I ate a whole pizza. I had a double bacon cheeseburger pizza, and I ate a large pizza
cannot have been good for you.
in 8 minutes. I didn't know I could eat a pizza that fast. But I was really cold.
The problem,
and I was really hungry.
the problem with any takeout is like, takeout pizza is I can eat 3 of those things just,
Because I get
Well,
like
I don't
the
get
thin
the
crust.
thick, like because I'm not paying for dough.
No, God no.
Like if I wanted to eat dough, I could just eat home dough.
Yeah. So that went through me okay. Like, I mean, look, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It just like, so my toilet.
Bad for you is pretty bad.
My toilet smelled like the pizza. Like it.
That's weird.
It is. It was a bad smell, but also it was enticing. It was really hard to. It was very not fun.
So the game itself isn't bad. It's a bit repetitive. I mean, something I keep yelling at people on the bus is if you want to make a brawler game, you've got to play the Mugen ones, because that's where fucking the kind of weirdo spectrum dwellers who can only communicate in brawling game hitboxes have coalesced and really sort of demonstrated, given you a very clear basic path to follow in terms of making these things work in an age where they're not just trying to trick you into putting fucking dollar coins in.
Just have
Variety.
More than one attack loop, please.
Yeah.
Like that's all I'm asking. Like, make it so if you press the attack button, like you pause for a second, then press it a second later, it goes into a different fucking loop.
There's a charge attack that's not very interesting. Everybody's got.
It's also like you can't really charge into it.
Yeah, you can't cancel into it. It's also superseded by a variety of other attacks.
Mm.
Is this where it froze, or is
this is where it
stops?
froze. Yeah.
I think every time it tried to save, record, and like load a fucking achievement, the game froze.
I don't know what was going on, but it was very particular.
I love how the Krang robot's head just looks like a big pile of like fucking putty with like a tuning fork stuck in it.
That's essentially what it is.
It goes.
It just like
The great henchman of drag, Shebop and Cockready. I really upset my cousin once because he was like, this was back in like 1990, because fucking Michelangelo was his favorite, and I called him Michael Angelhole.
Look, you can't express upsetness. It's just gonna be bad for you then, because then you've been effective.
Yeah. Well, again, we're kids. Kids are just fucking hardwired to flip out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Aw. Sad pillow brain Krang. I like how they're trying to get the Krang like body back. That's such a weird design, the Krang body. Like, I don't think about it because it just existed when I was like 5 years old. And anything generally that exists when you're 5 is just okay. That's just how the world works.
It is true. I really enjoyed this, like the first few levels of the game.
I mean, it feels good.
Oh yeah, no, like I enjoyed it through the whole way through, but in retrospect, I really enjoyed the first few levels more, just because of I felt like
There's still a possibility.
Oh yeah, but also the way the foot were made way more interesting for background and also little bits than like the magma people and shit later on.
That's true. I mean, it is that I do love they took over the fucking TV network and kept the shows going.
Yeah.
Because
you like in the background,
doing doing aerobics.
It's got him like cooking, doing everything. Like there's the cooking picture. Like that's great.
They already have like the marketing campaign printed up. This is the terrorism we need in the modern world. Irma found.
Like I was saying before, you're either in one camp or the other. You're in the Irma camp or the Velma camp.
I'm happy in both.
One foot in each, baby.
Yeah. I'm not. Don't make me choose. I mean, they kind of reduced April's bust a little bit, but on the plus side, pouty Irma.
Yes. Also, here comes the third challenger, Murgatroyd.
I mean, I did meet a girl called Murgatroyd once.
Which is just baffling to me. Because I asked you how old, and you were like,
No, she was. It was like I checked her ID at the bar. She was some Irish student, and particularly when I was in work mode back in the day, not a lot would fucking necessarily give me pause. Like one time I was coming to work and I always had a second guard with me when I was working at the bar, and just there was sometimes it'd just be some guy, and then tonight it was some guy, and he just shook my hand and said, "Hi, I'm the cowboy," and I was like, "Cool," and just went inside. Like it took me like another 30 minutes to register that was fucking weird, and yes. Just looked at and just Murgatroyd, because I've been obsessed with that name since like I was a little kid.
it's a futuristic sounding name. Like it doesn't, because it's got Troid in it.
I know
you
the oid is ending is not used enough.
To be fair, it's not.
Yeah, this is the thing. People find it like unpleasant or insulting. I mean, Murgatroyd seemed to be doing okay.
Poor. Imagine being like the person that got named that just to like held up tradition or whatever.
Yeah, because I think it is like might be like an old Irish name. It's like Hooligan was a surname. Like that's where that started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think it was a slur. Making fun of, a classist slur of making fun of people originally, and then, I don't know, maybe they were fucking ferals. It's hard to say, like, there are people like that.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yeah, and like, it's spelled Murgtroyd, which is fucking nuts.
It's an old surname taken from English aristocracy. One of the first mentions is Johannes de Murgatroyd.
Excellent.
A Yorkshire constable in the late 1300s.
Constable Murgatroyd. Fuck yeah. A lot of these sections
it's like Murgatroyd, but I don't know if it's said the same way, but it's spelled slightly different. It's like MOR on this one.
Was that the 1300s?
Yeah.
I don't think spelling was even solidified in the 1300s. Like, people are just...
Murgatroyd means the district leading to the moor.
Huh.
A lot of characters in the opera Ruddigore are named Murgatroyd.
Excellent. What? A lot of characters in one opera?
In the opera, yeah. Ruddigore are named Murgatroyd.
How the fuck do you... Okay, because it's a surname. I got to remember that.
Yeah, it's a surname.
Like, I was just there thinking,
I know, same.
I'm going to name this character also Murgatroyd, because I'm writing a play in the 1300s, and there's just no rules. Yeah.
There's some Murgatroyd and Murgatroyd.
My off-Broadway play, Silence of the Murgatroyds. Because I think that, the fucking demonym for the Bosnians is Bosniak. And I know. I fucking love.
I'm a Bosniak.
I know.
Bosniak, that's for sure.
Like, nothing like... But, like, I don't think there's an oid anywhere,
Yeah. Avoid the noid. It's like... Avoid the oid, and you gotta... That's what you'd do. If there was a kid called Murgatroyd, you'd avoid the oid, and you'd... run away from her.
Yeah... Woman named Murgatroyd has really boy named Sue fucking qualities to it, except you're not teaching this girl to be a better fighter. You just gotta give the meme girls a way to bully her. And then what? She's just like, oh yeah, I wanted my daughter to be tough because I wasn't gonna be around, so I made sure she'd have like an eating disorder when she was like 20 or some shit.
I want to bring it back, the name, but call it Murgathrope.
Like, I'm allowed to laugh at this because Dad almost called me Zoltan, and that would have been...
Oh, yeah, no,
you... I'd have carried, like...
Yeah. Actually, like, speaking of, because we haven't done a kind of what's been happening, there has been things that are happening.
Shouldn't we just do that as a separate bit?
I guess.
I mean, if you're going to make me do one 3 days after we did one, I say we stick to the fucking... keeping them as a fucking thing.
Well, yeah, but otherwise we're just not gonna do it till Wednesday. No, I just wanted the bit of news that I am excited about, because I changed my name. We haven't discussed that yet at all.
Okay.
And yeah, so I changed my name. I'm not legally Aaron anymore. Now I am Amber. Amber Bubsy Costello.
The Bubsy.
The Bubsy. Got to keep the trans agenda alive. You know?
Flat April is very funny.
So fucking funny. It's because like the art style's so different.
Foot plan on fucking motorcycles. I love how
Foot bike.
And they've got so much personality, but like they are just robots. You know, because that was how you were allowed to have violence in
Which
TV
you pointed out
shows,
to me. I was like, are they? You're like, yeah, why do you think they're exploding into like robot bits?
bear in mind, that was like several stages in. Like,
Yeah.
this has been going on a while. Like,
I just thought it did that thing, you know, where they're just enemies exploded. I haven't seen this show like since the 90s.
yeah, it's funny because like the original comic is very different. And
Yeah.
like, if anything, the movie probably takes a bit more from that. But like, I did love in the movies how it's just like they collect like street kids and teach them to be like fucking ninjas.
Right.
Which is hilarious. Is just
Fuck this level. Fuck these things. Like,
yeah, you push like attack and jump at the same time and you get a DP, and then when you're in the air you can do a dive kick. And so you just fucking go ham on that to get rid of those things because they can just stun lock you.
yeah.
That's really fucking annoying.
Like, also, whoever's making these games, make these levels dynamic. Don't make them
The same thing.
the same thing because it's literally just, hey, what are you doing? Well, we're taking away the agency of walking from the player. Okay, what does that do? Nothing.
Yeah, pretty much
Nothing. It
Like,
detracts.
Yeah, there's no fundamental gameplay change.
No. And there's like 3 of these levels.
Yeah, they don't get any more interesting.
No.
Like, it should have been the fucking skateboards had like a little, you know, they should have turned into a shooting stage or something, you know, and then
Should have done something.
should have been something.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the killer of these things is like variety. You need lots and lots and lots of fucking variety. And like meaningful variety too, because a lot of this is just kind of like reskins. Because yeah, the skateboard stages is like, alright, there's a fucking hazard every now and again, but so what? You know, the fact that you're on a skateboard hurtling along doesn't really change how you fight or interact with anything or how any of the gameplay feels. And it's like, nah, well, so what? You know, like, there are different characters and there are slight differences between them, but they're slight. You know, everyone gets some kind of, you know, super that's a space clear. Everyone gets a dashing super. You know, again, to call back to the best commercially released brawler, Alien vs. Predator, all the characters feel different, with the exception of like the Ken and Ryu Predators. That's like part of it.
Also the fact that they kind of, the vocals aren't super clean to sort of retain that 90s style. Also, really, every time fucking Raph yells, it's time for a turtle team up, I just hear it's time for a turtle steamer.
Yeah, you said that, and then I couldn't hear anything else. And it sounds like an obscene sex act.
It does.
Like if you say, hey, you want a turtle steamer, no one's thinking, oh, a soup. You know, like...
Yeah. That's definitely someone taking a shit somewhere. Like,
It feels like that. It feels like someone sits on your face and doesn't quite shit on it, but like lets a bit out and then sucks it back in.
no. Yeah, we kind of, but you know how those turtles have like that weird egg thing, like where how their eggs sort of
Yeah.
come out. Yeah, but with the poop. Yeah, they bend it. You know.
So it's like pooping out of a prolapse.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go, everybody. Get that on a fucking the internet fucking
Put that on a mug.
It's a turtle steamer. You haven't heard?
It's got like, and then you turn the mug over and it's got just the definition written.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it doesn't like fucking... What's that fucking slang dictionary that does any idiot?
Urban Dictionary, yeah.
I couldn't remember the word.
Yeah, you could put that up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I'm pretty sure they also just, like, you can get everything on
You
a
can,
fucking
yeah,
mug.
yeah.
Like,
Fuck it, I want that mug money.
yeah. So, like, you know, for the chain, like, there's the chain attack, if you hold, like, up, down, you know, forward or something, like, you should get, like, different stuff to just neutral.
Yeah.
you know, all the characters play, like, everyone's got, like, a dive kick. And it's like, not everyone needs a dive kick.
No. Like, that would have made characters different.
Yeah, and it's like, so, you know, there's Casey Jones, but it's like, and he does an elbow drop, and it's like, great. But also, it's just the dive kick.
It's exactly, yeah.
If it could hit, like, people who were on the ground and went straight down and, like, cancel momentum, it'd be like, oh, okay, this does something slightly different. If it had, like, a frame of armor, it'd be like, oh, okay, this does something slightly different. Everything's too much the same. And it makes basically a game that is fun for the first playthrough. You know, like, you find the fucking frogs, and I've forgotten about them. You can't play as them or anything. They're just sort of like...
You just... They're like Irma, but you got to find 4 Irmas.
Yeah, and the thing is like, you see those, like, you know, Vern wants tapes and, like, the fucking editor needs these fucking things. It's like, all right, that's cool. What does that do? It just gives you some experience points. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
And there are upgrades, but they're not very interesting.
You know
like,
what should happen? Every character should be a fucking playable character. Like, oh, you got my tapes here. Now, like, because I mean,
now unleash the awesome violence of Vernon.
Because it could literally just be a reskin of April. Like, they're both fucking reporters.
April being a playable fighting character is fairly ridiculous.
It is, but I love it. You know, she doesn't really need to swing cameras because she's not a cameraman. She's a reporter. But, you know, what do I know?
Just got the microphone.
Yeah. She could like hurl, like she could be a projectile character.
Yeah,
She could like throw like
interesting, yeah.
newspapers at people. I don't know.
Taser, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's that thing of like when you want to look like you can like make an interesting lady character but can't. You know, like the way they gave like Iris Flash powers in the Flash. It's like, oh, you can't write like a fucking reporter and make her interesting. You can't find things for this woman to do that involve like, you know, like, all right, the guy with the super speed who can basically freeze time and solve every problem is probably going to have to resolve the action sequence. But the thing about a lot of these action sequences is they might create like, you know, side effects that a lady who writes for a fucking, you know, newspaper and can fucking, you know, wield information might be useful in dealing with. But that would require you to put some fucking effort in. Instead, let's just give her flash powers as well. It's so mind-boggling.
They gave every person flash powers. Don't worry. They're fucking stupid.
Every one of those CW series actually starts out good as the crazy thing. Like, season 1 of The Flash is actually pretty good.
I've never seen, like, any of Arrow, but I only assume the last season of Arrow, everyone's Arrow.
I mean, almost.
Everyone has a
like,
bow.
yeah, like...
We're all multimillionaires with bows. Oh, well, shit.
I mean, I accept that the CW TV universe is like those monkeys throw things at you, and that upsets me profoundly.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, it's like a dimension where just
They
like
suck.
if you take like 5 karate lessons, you're immediately like B tier fucking superhero level. Like that's fine. I'm okay with that being just the way the fucking, you know, way the thing works. But like, you know, the show's just. And it's even okay to have like, you know, because like, there are other ones, like his little sister gets involved in shit. And it's like, all right, yeah, that was in the comics and whatnot. But like, it's gonna clutter up your fucking program. Because you can't then write like sort of more organic stories with a team of people who are different. You wind up like fucking having to fucking, you know, have them all hate each other for asinine reasons.
I just... It boggles my mind that they just make... You know why? It's because Marvel shows didn't exist. So there was no one to just go, hey, you've got competition. It was DC just competing with itself. So they just go, okay, we've done 2 seasons of this show. There's a new one coming out. Let's tank this one. And then people get involved in the new one. And then we'll do a shitty crossover at like season 4. And then maybe people will be involved with both. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll just keep them going with a little bit of like, you know, bait. That's how they go. That's how they roll. But now Marvel came out and they're like, oh, here's Star Wars shows. Here's Marvel shows. These shows actually have beginnings and endings and go places and matter for the rest of the impacted universe. It's an actual written story.
An actual written story. with at least some idea of where you're going is generally a good way to write. The frustrating thing is even like, you know, the CW ones could really work as like Monster of the Week because like there are, you know,
That's how Flash started.
yeah, dig
And
into the
that was
fucking
good.
comics and, you know, you can absolutely have some Z tier villains show up on a weekly basis.
Dog welder, I've been begging for so long.
I mean, I will grant you it's hard with Flash because trying to find a reason he can't just instantly solve the problem is a challenge. Yeah. Like, because it's so ridiculous to write around.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to punch the Flash. No, you're not. Like,
because he's like, you know, he's fast. Yeah, okay. And he also thinks that fast as well. Oh,
yeah. He can effectively just pause time.
Yeah.
And like that's where he's at from basically the start. It's not like, oh yeah, he's got to like learn to do that.
Yeah, no.
The Rat King.
I do like him just tied to the back of the rat.
One of the little things that I always loved in the booklet for like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters was it had like the, you know, the rundown of personal information for all the characters and whatnot. Including like eye color and whatnot. And so it'd say like eyes, green for some characters and shit. And then for Rat King, it just said eyes, beady.
That's funny.
Yeah. Very funny little detail to have in a booklet from back then.
A booklet, for those who don't know, is a little miniature book that came with your video game. That you could read.
Yeah, it's the community page on the Steam, the community button on Steam, except like...
There's no one there telling you to go die in a fire because you like the game or whatever.
There's no one threatening the fucking developer because it doesn't run Windows 7.
This doesn't run on my Pentium 2. Lordy.
The worst part is I'd be more, you know, tolerant of people like that if it's like, you know, what reality are you living? It's like, I live in like, you know, Bangladesh and you have to plug my computer into like a weasel and something like that. It's like, all right, yeah, there's...
I'd be more tolerant if there weren't, you know, required system specs and people were just buying it anyway in the hopes that, hey, maybe it will run. It's like, dude, like, yeah, then maybe it might. Who, like, fucking... I don't know. Maybe if I go outside, fucking Brett next door is just going to hand me a waffle. That might happen.
And I have been wondering why they call him Waffly Brett.
You can't just live your life hoping for Brett waffles.
He's got them spare. He just won't share.
That's why he's got the waffles. It's like, you know, all the rich people have money because they don't spend it. You know, Brett has all the waffles because he doesn't eat them. Or doesn't, you know, just offer me waffles every day.
I bet Raphael's the one Ninja Turtle with the end pass. One knows why.
I think they
can't quite put their finger on it.
I think they should just make up a new word completely and be like, yes, turtle slang. But like... Surprised, like, is there any Ninja Turtle, like, furry fans?
I mean, they did have that lady turtle, so I'm just assuming there is going to be. I mean, I can't say...
I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, they can't, like... They... excuse me. Dressed up as a turtle, like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Is that furry, you know?
I think technically. Like, I mean, they do predate the explosion of furry fandom by a little bit. I guess you don't know how to use that axe, but damn before you hurt yourself and somebody else.
Namely me. I don't trust big frogs with axes.
Just the look on his face says, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? There's some of the things in this that I do like. If you high-five each other, you can, like, share health with someone who's got, like, lower health. Which would probably be a little more useful if the game were, you know, harder. I think, like, a lot of the, you know, this is on the average difficulty level, which I think, you know, again, I always think a game has a canonical difficulty level. And, you know, average. It's like you can make it harder, but I don't trust harder because I don't know if they're gonna, like, you know, is it a change to enemy aggression, enemy attack patterns, or did they just give the enemies more health? You know, and I always find that latter just fucking boring. You know?
It's usually not done in the most creative of fashions or way that lends itself into a different experience.
Yeah. And so, like, a lot of this is quite easy with two people, you know?
But like the fire on it stages, I wouldn't say they get harder. They just get more annoying.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there are ways the foot change a little bit, but like rather than just making them, I don't know, take a little more, require a little more of a beating, they're just something that is very annoying to deal with because of the way they fucking.
Yeah, like the black ninjas, which we'll eventually get to. They, as soon as you hit them, they flip back and throw projectiles, and good lord, that's annoying. Because it comes up to a game of, well, I'm just going to waste my special on it because then I have invincibility frames.
Throwing April around. Like, I feel if, like, there may be a little more thought put into the attack patterns of the foot. You know, like, if those guys did that, but they were also teaming up with some of this, like, nuzzling up with some of the sword guys who can block and tank a hit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel if there was some sort of, a better sense of, like, an overall plan to the enemy layouts as opposed to just, here's some cunts!
Because that's what it just devolves into by the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like that from Go. It's just, here's some cunts, and
true.
every now and then there's new cunts. It's like, alright, what does this guy do? Oh.
Rat King.
Any comments?
Yeah. It's like evil Conan O'Brien.
What scoop?
Normal Conan O'Brien.
I do maintain that, like, Conan O'Brien was like a little bit, just a degree of hand-eye coordination away from being like just the complete opposite of a person. Because he has got such a fucking innate knack for insanely cruel bullying.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I say this as someone who also has a fucking knack for insanely cruel bullying. The way he'd serenade people, like he'd just, like his writers, and this was like in the early days of the show, when they were getting renewed on like every 6 months, when shit was real. And he'd just walk up to a writer who was like trying to make his show funny so they could have jobs. And he'd put his feet up on the desk near the guy, and he'd start playing a guitar and singing this improvised song about how this guy's gonna ruin his show. And that, again, like it's like all of hospitality. That bit where you destroy the brick wall only comes up once in this whole game, and it's really weird to me. Like it doesn't go, like needing to bash a wall down to get further through usually comes up.
No, they do. It's in the mall that you got to bash down the gate.
Oh yeah, to go up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like maybe you could, like, there you go. There's a variation. You could have a left wall and a right wall, and it changes the stage slightly depending where you go.
Well, that's another thing that a lot of these brawlers really need is like multiple paths.
Oh god, yeah. It was like, why was like, most of Metal Slug's paths you don't know for shit. They are just completely something asinine, and it's like, oh, now you're going in this way. Okay.
Weirdly well hidden.
Yeah, I love these dudes like working.
I do love these details.
And that's what I mean. That's what really makes this first half of the game for me is these little details. Because he was behind there and then he kicks out and
I mean, say what you will about Shredder, the foot. Yeah, the foot are really good at running a fast food giant. Like, I could go to the human Wendy's or I could go to the foot Wendy's. I know which one I'm going to.
Well, it's kind of like, in Austin Powers when he gets unfrozen and number two's just been successfully running the business and he makes all this money.
Yeah, you could just...
And it's the same thing. See, there we go.
I know. I got no idea how we did that.
We could never do that again.
Yeah, watch us try to, like, just rub until, like, I get to hurl April O'Neil as a fireball again.
I don't know how we did it. Because, you know what it's at the start? There's a 21-page fucking how to play.
It
doesn't tell you that.
There's no instruction for April O'Ball.
Which is silly because it's like, I was thinking, oh, maybe it's because, when you start the game, there's only one player selected. But then I'm like, wait, it also tells you how to do share health, so fuck it.
Funk Frogs. There's one.
Napoleon's a bit kinky. It's got these. Look at the tassels on that whip.
I mean, like, on a whip they're not called tassels.
Well,
and they're there to rend flesh.
I see.
In the actual definition of that word. The idea of you saying, like, just we're both chained up in a dungeon. Guy comes into the whip, you just go, ooh, tassels. It's like, no, that's not what those are for.
Those ones, they looked soft. Okay. What if you really
love
like
tassels?
What if you really like it? What if you're into BDSM in the...
There are people who are into BDSM, but then there's like getting full tilt, like whacked by a cat of nine tails. And I'm not saying somewhere out there's probably someone who can nut while that's going on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But also like...
But imagine like finding that out in medieval times.
Just right in the middle of it. Yeah.
It's like, you're gonna die. Oh.
Oh, God damn it.
No, torture nut.
Right at the end too.
Having your flesh rendered would be the worst.
Yeah, like it's not good. Like, I mean, I've been reading the old history books about like what transportation was like. Like, it's like, well, we got to ferry these criminal types out, get rid of them somehow. And so you'd be, I mean, it was a disaster from like the start, but like you'd be packed onto a shitty fucking boat. You just constantly having salt water drip on you, and then you're getting like, if you do anything at all, you just get whipped. I don't remember this girl.
Yeah, I don't.
She summons the fucking mutants from Secret of the Ooze. The snapping turtle and the wolf. Which I'll admit did bug the shit out of me when I was a kid, because it's like, alright, look, I understand why you didn't have like Sheebop and Cockroach in the first one, but you're gonna give me fucking mutants in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to the Secret of the Ooze, and they're not gonna be Bebop and fucking, Rocksteady. Yeah, and the wolf has mouth farts, which I don't remember being a thing in the film, and I don't remember the film that well. I remember the third movie that went back in time, which I thought was a mistake.
I can't remember it at all.
Yeah, it went to like samurai times.
I slightly remember that.
You'd remember if you saw it. It's one of those ones where it'd just be like...
No, I only remember because it was like on TV last year. And I don't know why. But I can't find... Where did this tweet go? I'm so upset.
The internet lady stole my tweets.
I don't know why, but the original's gone. But yeah, someone posted just on the topic of recasting Wolverine. Hear me out here. But what about Matt Berry? And then just someone has quoted that with, Sabretooth, is that fuzzy prick still terrorizing the streets of beautiful Ontario, Canada? I'm going for a whiz. But when I get back, I want the Quinjet ready to take me to Pound Town. Population, that silly bastard. And that just fucking very funny.
He's the right height. Like, I do think he needs to be like, a proper fucking midget this time around. That'd be my vote. Because the whole point is like, you don't think much of him to look at.
No.
And he's just unkillable. And also has fist swords. which is cheating a little. Like, I think, I'd probably be a bit more aggressive if I had fist swords.
Oh, 100%. Like, also the unkillable thing, like really, I think jams at home.
That'd probably set me off a bit,
yeah. Someone cuts in front of you in Starbucks, so you just cut off one of their arms, and it's like, look, he knew the rules.
I'd make your fucking cannon transport system a fucking reality.
Oh, fuck yes.
Like, I'd just, get like one of those fucking carnival cannons. Now that I think about it, like, where could you get a cannon that's designed to fire a human being? Yeah, I feel that roll around your brain while you fucking puzzle for an answer.
It's like I'd contact stuntmen. Like that's the only place I could think that would have them on hand.
One of my housemates runs one of those fucking distribution warehouses, where all the stuff comes in from like the fucking boats, and then fucking it gets put into stuff, and then they take the stuff. And one of the guys who was working with was like an actual legit carny. Who works like, does these jobs and shit on like the off season when you can't be bothered traveling. And I mean, beyond being just an odd unit in general and a deranged spender. It's like he was just saying, like, because they can earn a remarkable amount doing that. And then, because he's an insane cunt, he just spends all of it on stuff. And then, to go work in a fucking warehouse to, you know, have some fucking
funny.
money. But like, the question I had was like, all right, like, how do you get this job? And the answer was just gay, because that was, you know, my housemate asked. It was like, yeah, it's just, you have to either be directly related to someone or know someone. Like, it's not, there's nowhere at the fucking job network meeting, so they're gonna go, okay, we have an opening at like standing menacingly near the tilt-a-whirl. Because I think, like, yeah, because like, even if you could figure out where to buy one of those things, like, how do you
Yeah.
just call a carnival and like, hey, can I park here?
I don't know what that thing did still. Oh, that came out of it. No.
What came out of it?
The points pizza.
Oh, right.
That was literally it.
Points on pizza? We saved the infinity pizza for like a rainy day, which did not occur. But then you got the fucking infinity pizza as we were leaving. I was like, oh, I hope that lasts. And go fuck yourself. See, like, that sword guy was reading a newspaper. I love that. Like, that's gonna help him blend in. You know, like, I'm not gonna notice the rest of it. It's like there's that fucking bit in, one of my favorite bits in Terminator 2. And one of my favorite things about the T-1000 is, like, the T-1000 can act human in ways that the T-800 either can't or can't be bothered. You know, like, the T-800 stands out even when it's not doing something insane, you know?
It doesn't have enough RAM to...
Yeah, he has no personality, you know? Like, it's just insane, he just says shit. But, like, there's a couple of times in fucking Terminator 2, like, when someone tells him that, like, he might have seen, like, John Connor at the Galleria, and he says, the Galleria, in a really human way. And it's amazing, and I love it. And it's one of my favorite line reads, because it's so bizarre and almost out of fucking character, but perfectly in character given the situation, and it lends him that weird mechanical alien quality. And the other one is just like, you know, after they've escaped, and the motorcycle cop rolls up, and the T-1000 is going to say, that's a nice bike. And it's like that, because like, that is unnecessary. Like, you gotta stab him and absorb his identity, so it's not like, you know, you don't need to fucking trick this guy with your social skills. He's just showing off, really. You know, the T-800 would just go, give me that.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, this guy means to fucking take my goddamn bike.
That's the terror of the T-1000.
Yeah.
So it's around talking sass, you know? Before it absorbed my fucking Auntie Donna, it came out and was like, don't go there, girlfriend.
It was like, say, Auntie Donna, that's a nice dress. Why, thank you, why? Hey, you're a sword now.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
If I could turn it to one inanimate object.
I was gonna say a credenza, but I don't know what credenza is. I do love that there was just a period of human history where people were really rich but also had nothing to buy but furniture.
Yeah.
So there'd be whole rooms for like just forms of furniture that you don't
That's very funny.
experience or use anymore, you know? Like, oh, what's this? The drawing room. Okay.
Why? Oh, we used to draw a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Because there's no TV, right?
Yeah, there's no TV, there's no electronics, there's like, you can't really, you can travel, but it's like, I don't feel like spending 6 months on a fucking boat.
No.
So, you know, what are you going to spend it on going places? It's like, all right, you've bought more land, but that's just another place for you to put credenzas. So it's like, all right, well, better pay a guy to woodwork some shit up again, I suppose. I mean, you know, just gonna look at it otherwise. This is my drawing room.
Wasn't that the dude who was on Becca, Tony Credenza?
This is a weird last name now that I think about it.
Danza. Danza.
D-A-N-Z-A.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Tony Danza sounds like the fucking street name of like a Batman character, you know?
Yeah. I'm not him, I'm Tony Danza. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know what weirdly thematically appropriate evil power he'd have.
To find my
'Cause-
VHS tapes.
He would play nothing but the band Danzig. He just played out of his hands.
Sometimes metahuman powers suck. I read your fucking diaries, pouty Irma. I know what you've written. You can't hide behind just the fact that it's fan fiction. People shouldn't write the things you've written.
You read it, you can't unread it.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more stolen Irma diaries.
Panic in the sky.
Like to sperm of that Irma.
Fucking.
Well, that's one way to avoid New York traffic.
I know.
Because
I know
this
exactly
is
how to now. I've read her sad, horny diaries.
and this is the level that instead is just the turtle fucking boards in the sky instead of on the street. How's any different? It's not. It's not. Oh well, there's obstacles. There's
they're
more
on the
obstacles.
street.
Maybe like if it was like a 3D kind of section, you could go up and down. You know, that would have been interesting.
Another way of zesting up these old arcade game style things is to have lots of different styles of arcade game in it.
Yeah.
Because you can do that. Like, it's not like, not asking for some fucking, Unreal 5 rendering of Irma here.
I am. Nothing but Irma. It's just Irma butthole. That's it.
Irma. Irma. Irma.
Irma.
Fuck, that made me laugh. I missed my balloon pizza.
Yeah, that
I
was
wasn't
funny.
paying attention. My pizza was on a balloon.
How else do you get your pizza in New York City? Balloon pizza. The only way to eat pizza. It's really not. No, it is.
Any comments?
I mean, I feel like that could make for a fun party game.
Any
You know.
comments?
You gotta try to eat the pizza.
Yeah,
off
there's a
the
slice
balloon.
of pizza attached to like a helium balloon. The problem is it would take probably a surprisingly large balloon to support even just a regular slice of pizza.
You just get like a bunch.
Comments?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, then still you got a lot of balloons. Like, because I don't think a standard balloon full of helium is going to hold even a slice of pizza.
Maybe 2 to 3 balloons. Maybe one of those big ones.
I mean, while I am all for messing around with giant balloons,
We don't really have the helium to waste.
Any comments?
I wish I could find the pictures I took when I put the giant balloon in my house, nice little room. Told me he hated balloons. Rich,
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
you know,
Why would someone give you that information?
that was another one of those ones where you regretted it just immediately.
very
The fastest turnaround I've seen on something like that was like when one of the bar girls I worked with got pregnant and she made some, I can't remember what it was for. It was convinced me to do something that I think was technically her job, but it was like, if you do this, you can give my baby her middle name. And I lit up like Christmas, which
That's a bad
was a
idea.
mistake. But like, it was like the second the words were out of her mouth, she went, "No!" I was like, because somewhere out there there'd be a little girl with the middle name Uppercut. Which I maintain's a good middle. I mean, your middle name's fucking Bubsy. It's like, it's a middle name. Nobody cares.
I mean, my
middle name's Pascal.
last name was nearly Uppercut.
I mean, you can have a goofball middle name because that's pretty much what they're for.
Yeah. I hate this level. I hate everything about it.
It was really boring.
It's just so boring.
Like, turn it into a shooter. You know, turn it into like an R-Type clone. Turn it into a...
Turn it into
Fucking-
anything but the fucking standard level that we've been playing for the whole game.
Yeah, or, you know, have different attacks and movement patterns because you're on like a flying skateboard. It's like, alright, this guy's got wings, but how does this, like, you know... Got wings and nuts, apparently.
Like, because at least if you're gonna do this, at least have the character lean forward and back. Like, because right now there's just no animation at all, which is...
Weird considering the degree of effort and care that went into the rest of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like how there's just sort of each character has kind of one soundbite for when they do things.
God, yeah.
God, those wear thin. So I'm glad Raphael's taunt was just him laughing. What was it fucking April keeps saying? Like, you have a comment and it's
Something like that,
like,
yeah.
because like if you taunt in the game, it gives you like your fucking ninja meter back. It's like, all right, that's good. You know, it takes time. You can't cancel it, so it leaves you vulnerable. I mean, you can just spam it. So like, if you have a minute, and you'll see this by the end of this, where it's just like, oh yeah, there's a second. We need to like completely recharge the ninja meter by laughing. Which is like, you know, the one trick ninja masters don't want you to know.
Oh, that's why they're always so happy.
I do love this, the idea that like, because if you extract, you know, just the idea that taunts make you like stronger, you know. It's like, oh yeah, you got to fill your ninja meter. Like, call the little gay kid a homo. Yeah, it'll make him cry, but it's important because you know you need the ability to spin around in a circle while holding a stick out.
That fucking, I'm watching that board and it's giving me just the heebie-jeebies. Because it's just, it hits you if you touch it.
Yeah, so you see the little board jiggling? Yeah, if you stand on that, it just flips up and hits you in the face. And it's fine here. I mean, I will say it upsets me that it doesn't seem to fucking get set off by the foot, which I think is cheating. But like, yeah, I like the dash or I have like a backflip super now, but like, and like, it's actually kind of interesting because when Raphael hits one with it, he sort of flips around and slams him into the ground with like his feet, and it's just it's a big damage hit. The problem is they only animated it to happen to the foot, all of which don't take that much fucking damage. Like even the harder ones don't take. So it's just a waste. And like sometimes if you hit it on a character they haven't bothered to like create an animation for, he'll do it 3 times. So yeah, there it is. Only works on the foot. He'll do it 3 times so you at least get like something out of it and a bit more damage. And then sometimes you'll just hit him and then just nothing happens.
Yeah.
And it's the same with April. Like April, when she gets hers, is like a fucking, you know, she gets a Ryoku Rambu out of it. But it only happens on the foot, and it's like, all right, well that's great.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing.
I'm gonna do like what would be a great bit of boss level damage to like just, you know, fucking the guy with the stick who takes like 5 punches.
Yeah. It's just kind of lame. I love this dude.
Look at that guy.
Step right up.
Yeah. How am I supposed to get into the carny industry now that robots have taken over?
Become a robot yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe you are a robot.
I'm curious about how the robot carnies will go, because like, well, the fact that they're in like the fucking uncanny valley mean that carny bullshit doesn't work? Or will the fact that they're a little bit outside the carny bullshit spectrum, you know, make me respond with a little more pity?
That's a good question.
Because the carnies are going to have to deal with this, because sooner or later those fucking rides are going to
Do
operate
robot
themselves.
carnies dream of electric sheep?
Like, it'll just be like the tilt-a-whirl going, hey, get in my tummy.
Oh man, the Vor fanatics are gonna have a field day.
Just me using my fucking Psycho Crusher foot Hurricane Rana on fucking black ninjas with their stupid goddamn look. They just jump back and they throw sides. You can't DP through the sides either, which is, you know. What's even?
I don't know how I feel about carnivals.
I didn't think carnival ambivalence was a thing. I didn't think that was a thing that you were capable of being. These people are either, it's you know, rides are a fairly digital experience. Like, you either like being hurtled around like a mad thing, or you don't like it.
I like it. I don't like spinning.
Tilting, yes. Whirling, absolutely. Spinning, hold the
It
phone.
makes me get sick.
I mean, I do enjoy rides. Part of me even enjoys the nasty thrill of carnival rides and the sense of genuine menace and danger that they have. Because, like, you go on a good ride and you're like, oh yeah, they spent like thousands of dollars to make sure this doesn't murder you.
Unless it's Dreamworld.
No. Well, these days, you know, now that
See, there's the fucking board hit me.
now that DreamWorld's filtered out the last of the murder rides.
Oh god. I just want to make my own theme park that's just Vor. It's like the giant drop into a dude's mouth. the Tower of Tummy.
Consoles.
Oh, tonsils work.
Like, you can't knock the fucking Black Ninjas over with your fucking shit that knocks cunts over. I disagree.
I also disagree.
It's just the same foot. I guarantee. You can't eat those, Leatherhead. They're made of robot. Or
He's
maybe they
gonna
do have like an
try.
orphan's brain.
Frogs going past in the background is so good.
Yeah, that is. Because they're just having a good time. And every now and then they'll throw something down. Yeah, look. See, look at whee!
But yeah, I don't know about carnivals. Like,
Any comments?
I don't mind them. I don't hate them. But I don't know if I like them.
Part of me does want to go to the exhibition, yeah. I'm just curious to see how it's changed in like 30 years.
I bet like next to nothing. It's just the only thing that's changed is going to be like show bag inflation.
Yeah, like that I expect to be brutal. Like it was, because I remember like hearing like, you know, friends go and shit in high school, and it's just like, I don't want to spend fucking that much money getting into a place, and then having to spend money on the rides as well.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
But like, cause yeah, I remember like when we stopped going was like just about when the $10 bags started showing up, and now it's like you spend $50 and you get like, I don't know, some headphones or some shit. It's like, look, you're just turning this into a shop pretty much, you know?
And a shitty shop.
Yeah.
You're shopping at Crazy Clark's with the price of fucking JB Hi-Fi.
The whole point is it's meant to be like promotional material shit that companies just are trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to, you know, they can't store it. It's not like stuff you can actually sell at like a fucking real shop. So it's like, all right, chuck it in a bag and like trick Brisbaneites into fucking spending money on it.
Which is like, they're in Brisbane. What else are they going to spend money on?
Kinda need your help.
Shut up, you turds. You know, maybe you did something as frogs and like, how can you be a frog with a battle axe and not hit somebody with that? Like, what do they do? I don't even remember them in the original series.
They're battle toads.
Yeah, I feel like this should have had like a biker Rush from Mars or something. Like,
I feel like it just should have had something.
who came first? It was the Turtles, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I think the Battletoads had to be second because they were on the NES. And there was like, biker Rush from Mars,
Biker is later.
Street Sharks,
later.
Toxic Crusaders, which is baffling for a lot of reasons. Who sees a trauma movie and goes, children's programming? It's like there was like RoboCop. I kind of understand because part of the fun of RoboCop is that it is a ridiculous Saturday morning cartoon show idea, but like directed by Paul Verhoeven and with like, you know, guy getting put into a vat of radioactive, you know, waste.
Mm.
That bit in the opening where they just blow limbs off of Peter Weir.
So, Turtles. The original was 1984. That's the comics.
Peter Weller, that's right. Peter Weir's a director.
1984.
There's there was the comic, and then somehow it became a kids program. But fucking just caught the, you know, that 90s blast of marketing to children.
Mm.
Dare you interrupt my high five, you pricks. Turtles, G.I. Joe. Because G.I. Joe's been around since the 50s. But like the G.I. Joe, like 50s G.I. Joe was like
Any comments?
full-size doll with articulation of just a soldier.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the soldier didn't have like a fucking, you know, jetpack that turned into a motorcycle, which is bullshit.
And then Action Man was like essentially the old style
Yeah, G.I. Joe
of that
dolls.
sort of stuff,
But with-
but modern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
and
with a
it's-
fucking
boom.
backpack that turned into a
Yeah,
fucking motorcycle.
and they all had like, for some reason, they all just had like real sort of skin, realistic sort of feely skin.
They were
It was
weirdly,
weird.
yeah, like they were weirdly high quality dolls for that period.
Yeah.
Because like they were much larger than a regular action figure, and they had like lots of points of articulation. And yeah, like
Well, of course, they were an action man, not an action figure.
because I mean the GI Joes had decent articulation.
Original work for the original G.I. Joe was called America's Movable Fighting Man.
I do love shit before the marketing teams got involved. What do we call this? Movable Fighting Man. Excellent.
Because like,
Fucking genius.
because that was the tagline too. It was G.I. Joe, America's Movable Fighting Man.
Movable.
I know.
Like you couldn't. Like I understand. All right, none of you were like in the creative arts, but you couldn't say mobile. You know, like America's Mobile Fighting Man. It's like all right, yeah. You know, you move them around to various South American countries, but like movable. Like an engineer came up with that. That's a not how real people talk moment. Now G.I. Joe talks.
Ow! I don't believe you.
He features up to 4 different slurs for Vietnamese.
The Hasbro prototypes were originally named Rocky, Marine Soldier, Skip, Sailor, and Ace, Pilot, for the more universal name G.I. Joe was adopted.
Any comments?
That giant mouse had tried to eat me.
Breaking news.
Was Snowjobby's actual name, or was that a joke that fucking happened and I forgot the difference? Because I wasn't one of the G.I. Joe kids, you know. It was
I'm
Transformers all the
pretty
way
sure he
for me.
was. No, that was his actual name.
What was his actual name?
Yes.
Fucking rad.
Any comments?
That's nice. Nice that I remembered that.
Snow Job, Arctic Trooper.
That's another sad example of bullying in the
I
military.
had Snow Job. Remember that. Those things. So these little figurines were like this tall, and you can't see because obviously there's no camera. But
About the distance from like a mouth to the eyes.
yeah, and they were inside of them were held together with tons of little
Rubber
rubber
bands,
bands.
yeah.
And I found this out when my father ran them over with the mower, and they exploded like landmines. And that's very funny
Yeah,
because they just ricochet everywhere and hurt.
yeah, the rubber bands were strung around the inside in a way that like, because again, they were remarkably fucking posable for action figures. Like that was one thing. Like, you know, there were a lot of Transformers from that period that had, you know, maybe 2 points of articulation if you were lucky. You know, if you were buying like, particularly some of the combiners, where it's just like, what happens? Well, you pull him in half, and then the bottom part of him's legs. And none of those are going to move whatsoever because we also need this to structurally be the leg of a larger thing. And then he's going to have 2 funny little arms on the side that are just sticks that don't have an elbow of any description. Whereas like the G.I. Joes had like elbows and fucking wrists, and there was all these rubber bands holding them together. If the rubber bands got cut at any point, yeah, the tension would just like release in such a weird way that it would explode. Like one thing would just fly off, like an arm would fly off somewhere, and like.
It's pretty rad.
So those are pretty good figures, like, because they'd come with shit and you'd get a thing. And, like, that was back when each of the figures would do something. Like, they had, like, a central idea. Like, Depth Charge, who, you know, is locked in that Buzz Lightyear capsule. Like, had an actual, like, the figure was actually sealed. And it came with a little thing that you could squeeze. And it would, like, vent the fucking water, or you could let water in. And then you could dump them down in the fucking water.
Yeah, the vehicle line was good. You know, they had like they all fit in the vehicles because they're all universal sized. And there was shitloads. Like I had a big G.I. Joe tank. It was like this big. It was really huge.
Everything you see here.
It comes with
Mobile
cum.
Command Fortress.
no, product does not actually come with cum.
I mean, like, that was a thing, though. Like, that wouldn't, like... Because they used to come with, like, fluids and shit back in the day. Like,
oh, God, yeah.
the He-Man that, like, you know, one of them came, like, the one that stank. Like, what was his name? Fart ass or some shit. Like, fart ass came with, like, a fucking substance that... It was like chemical warfare. It legitimately, like, it came with, like... You know, these days it's like arsenic can or fart spray, you know. But, like, he came with some of that. And that... I think about that a lot, like, because the Ninja Turtle Zeppelin, when you bought it, like, came with these 2 canisters of itching powder. Yeah, and fucking,
that doesn't
like...
seem right.
No, and it's like, ponder on that for a moment of like, oh yeah, we're gonna give like, we're gonna put like effectively dangerous chemicals in a product marketed to fucking, you know, 8-year-olds.
I don't...
With the express purpose of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sprinkle this on my
Well,
brother.
there was a lot of products that got recalled over the years.
Yeah.
Like the Dr. Dreadful series got recalled, which was Dr. Dreadful was a horror-themed...
Lolly factory.
Yeah, and it was like
lollies
you
in
made
them.
they'd molds and you'd pour in thing and they make like the bugs and you could eat the bugs and creepy crawlies and all that.
Yeah.
Except they poisoned a bunch of kids. So
My brother got one of the fucking second issues. I know it was like moderately fun, but some of those fucking molds just didn't stay together.
no
It's
shit.
like, yeah. Fuck, man, come on. Mold. I'm not asking for something complicated here, you know, like.
I mean, they were probably made in China.
Oh no,
very,
absolutely, they're
very
made in
cheaply.
China. Like, all those things are still made in China.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all made in Guangdong.
good old Guangdong.
I mean, because it is nice to see that, like, I don't know if it started with the Transformers, but I know it's definitely kicked off since 2011 and the rise of like the third-party versions, because you can get like effectively the much better versions of other, you know, Saturday morning kids show shit.
Yeah.
Like, I think the G.I. Joes have actually had a decent official run. Like, I think there has been really good official G.I. Joes.
Right.
But, like, there are a lot of third parties now doing, like, rarer stuff, you know? Like, the Centurions are getting a run, which is nice to see. It's like, what if we gave
Call
a dude
me when
Lego
Mask
tits?
is back.
I think there is a Mask run.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, you have to, I haven't looked that much into it, but there is Mask. Which was a weird show. 'Cause the first series
very
is like,
weird.
you know, like they're an anti-terrorist force. And then the second series, they're just doing races. It's like, alright. It's like, okay, this was all like fucking cars and shit, and maybe you didn't think that through. But that was just a weird direction for it to go in.
I'm trying to think of like other weird shows that existed back then that had toy lines. Just like
Dino Riders and Dino Saucers. Yeah, that's right. I forgot they were like weird little Korean links in the show.
doesn't know which way to face.
We'll laugh at you. So dinosaurs were like humanoid, like kind of like these Triceratops guys. They were humanoid dinosaurs that were from some other planet, and they landed on Earth.
Kind of like biker mice from Mars.
A little bit.
Did they
yeah.
ride motorbikes?
I don't think so, but they did have one whole episode that was kind of like a Raymond Chandler gumshoe, like blood-boiled detective story, but with a Triceratops in a trench coat.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And there was Dino Riders, which I think was set in like a post-apocalyptic or some other dimension, like real road dinosaurs. And that was more like the dinosaurs weren't like people; they didn't talk.
No. Yeah.
The dinosaur toys are coming back now because of Jurassic Park.
Are they?
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of like the Jurassic Park toys. And I remember the first run of those was like the biggest deal was like here's the T-Rex, and then it just had a piece of it you could take out
Yeah.
and you saw its ribs. I think they have other shit now, but this is not like unless it's like, oh yeah, we fucking strapped a bunch of guns to this dinosaur. There's not a lot you can, you know.
Comments?
I mean, if you made a very high quality figure, that'd be nice, but like not really about that.
No. No, I remember those. I remember those toys. I had a raptor, I think.
And everyone would lose their meat bit, and then it's just like, well, there's his ribs forever now. Comes with bit of meat. It's like, okay. Didn't think this through, did you? You didn't really think about how to like fucking action figure or toyize this fucking line of like things.
I miss the moose collectibles. Just the yo-yos and shit and random stuff they'd have.
Oh yeah.
I just fucking
Well, that's all NFTs now.
yeah. I'm not about them.
No, because at least the fucking I mean, I make fun, but at least the fucking T-Rexes had a piece of meat.
That's right. I want a yo-yo, not an NFT. Unless like my NFT gives me exclusive use of
A
fucking no, I was gonna say of Danny DeVito's bathroom, then I'm not interested. If like I bought one and they were like, hey, here's Danny DeVito's extra bathroom key, I'd be like, all right, we're in business.
Let me just get my fucking passport in order.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to shit by the time I get there.
I'm gonna have to change my passport. God damn it. At least like I paid the extra $50 to give me the piece of paper that says, hey, yeah, this used to be my name, now it's not. Because like that's an option just to not get it, which I think is stupid.
It's important.
It's very important to do anything. Because otherwise it's just like, I've got to send my original birth certificate back. Otherwise I just give it to you and we'll just we'll create a bunch of fraud. Like,
Yeah.
like
I'm not made of metal. Like,
you might be a T1000. I don't know this.
it's a nice bite. Say,
Stop saying
it's
that.
a nice vagina.
Thanks.
The Galleria. It's such a like. I urge everybody to look that sequence up. Yeah, because it's so, like he says it in the same kind of weird, hyper friendly of like, here's a children's pasta that we don't think molests. Can't be sure, but roll the dice. Maybe if everyone was molested, it'd take the stigma off of it. Have you thought of that?
Maybe it should be like, a game of Dungeons and Dragons and he rolls a d20 beforehand. He goes,
Sorry, Billy, natural 20s.
yeah, well. Billy, you need a 6 and higher to get out. Your roll. Unfortunate Billy. That's a 5.
That's what the fucking, the big to-do will be about it is fine. It's not the molestation, but finding out he was using loaded dice. That's not what the Southern
Because it's
Baptist
like,
congregation is all
imagine,
about.
if it was a choose your own adventure and it's like, well, Billy chose the rape, okay? It's, I don't make the rules. Well, you do, Father. You do make the rules. Well, I don't want to hear that. The book, he followed the book's instructions. He had to turn to page 8, and then he turned to page 12, and then he saw my asshole. Okay? Fair's fair. At least
without rules, what are we?
At least give kids the presumption they could have escaped maybe if they'd instead turned to page 3 instead of 5. They wouldn't have. It still ends all the same way, but
It's important to make them blame themselves. That way, you're never brought to justice. I mean, I don't know, man. If we're all molested, that's, then it's just normal and it's fine.
they still do choose your own adventure books.
Probably not. I mean, phones exist.
That's
You're gonna
true.
try and write a fucking book to compete with that? What's the fucking selling point of this book? It's like almost interactive in a way. Oh, okay, yeah, that's gonna do really well up against like Clash of Clans.
Yeah, that's true.
That's actually interactive.
Choose your own Clash of Clans. There you go.
I mean, really, just Wikipedia is a choose your own adventure.
That's true.
But like, just all of it winds up at Hitler.
Hitler and
Sword
Persona
guys.
is the best.
Hitler in Persona.
Yeah. He's like one of the final bosses.
I don't know enough about Persona. Like, the problem is that could be true because like the Nazis.
true.
Are you no seriously? Because
I
the
am
Nazis show up in
serious.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I'm
at one point.
serious. I'll show you. Give me a second.
I really thought you were fucking with me.
I am
gonna lie.
not fucking with you.
No, I believe you now because like I gave you 3 opportunities.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And after that, it's just like, all right, look, I've expressed my suspicion.
The The Führer is an antagonist from Persona 2. Innocent
At least he's
Sin.
an antagonist. Like,
And Adolf Hitler was an Austrian-born German. Yeah, we all know that.
I love that the fucking Persona fan wiki has a thing explaining Hitler. I mean, it'd probably be more useful to explain the shit that Japan
you're
got
not
up
ready
to.
for the one in the PSP version. The cool Hitler.
The Fury, like Hitler in sunglasses grinning is bad,
In
but
the
I had to
PSP.
read. Yeah, no, I had to read the sentence "the Führer" in the PSP version, which I wasn't
In the
expecting.
PSP remake, Hitler receives a mild censorship. His name is replaced by Führer, and he wears black sunglasses to cover his eyes. While the creators of the game
What?
gave no reason for this, highly likely this was due to the CRO, the Japanese rating system for video games, similar to the North American. The CRO is a rule which states that people with a real background, such as Adolf Hitler, may not appear in fictional media. In the PS1 version, there were also swastikas on the floor, which were removed in the PSP remake.
Oh yeah, it's just the Führer. Who could that be? Who? Right? Yeah. Well, what do they refer to? Oh, I guess we'll never know. Yeah, they renamed him the Führer. It's like, okay, good job. Yeah, I never figured that out. It's that fucking, like, again, like, I love. It's always at the minutia that censorship becomes the funniest fucking thing in the world, you know, like.
Yeah.
Because, like, fucking, what's his, Stephen Bochco or Beefo or something, like the guy that did, like, NYPD Blue, right? And it's trying to be like a fucking HBO style gritty, you know, cop show on like NBC.
Right.
And so they do a reasonably good job of it. Like the first few seasons are highly regarded, etc. But like, it was literally this thing of, you know, they had like the fucking rules where you could have like X many forms of a swear or one like giga swear. Like you could have 5 shits or a fuck, you know?
Right.
And so there's literally this mathematics to it of like somehow if I hear shit 5 times in a row, that's the equivalent of hearing a fuck once, you know? Which is just
That's
fucking
batshit.
hilarious. Yeah.
Can't,
Like-
you can't put a fucking quota on my fuck, alright?
Alex Hirsch put a thing up recently about like censor notes he got from Disney about like oh God, come on, brain, what's it goddamn called?
Gravity Falls?
Gravity Falls, yeah. About Gravity Falls. And like some of it's amazing. I mean, one of them was like the kids were wearing a t-shirt that said Chub Pup. And I do kind of get that. Because if I was like 50 years old and like wasn't sure about what the kids were up to, I'd assume that was filthy. You know? Like if you hit Chub Pup, you're like, okay, look, what? No, I'm not. Like if the, you know, if you're in a classroom and the kids go, hey, do you want a Chub Pup? I'd be like, look, I'm not playing this stupid fucking game.
Look, all I'm gonna say is, Disney, you let Goofy vor Mickey and Minnie as they fucked in your stomach.
Yeah,
Like, anything you say to censor my show, I'm gonna point back around in a loop at that and go,
that's what a Chub Pup is. Because I said that it was Australian slang for a penis that gets smaller when it gets hard. Which does actually occur. It's the rough trade of having a shower that sacrifices length for girth. And that is a legit thing. Some kind of bizarre, like, you know, how do you grow into a chode?
with a lot of gumption.
Gumption does feel like the kind of positive quality a chode would have.
Yeah. Well, it's got a lot of gumption. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I think chode, I don't think stick-to-itiveness.
No.
Yeah.
I just like, these guys are just not as...
They're not hanging out in the background working at like a fast food store.
Yeah.
Or compiling listicles for print media.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, what are they doing? Oh, they're just hanging out on the roof or something like they're fucking Sting. It's like, okay. This reminds me of like that side thing, like, you know, you remember the GoBots? They're getting a fucking fancy rework, actually.
That'll be good for the 3 people who enjoy the GoBots.
I know, and like, don't get me wrong, they've suffered so much, so I am happy for them. I don't know them personally, but I can only assume that as GoBots fans, they suffer constantly.
I'm gonna make my own version called the Stop Bots.
That's probably what they'll wind up being called, because you can Because you can just make a fucking GoBot, but you're not allowed to call him a GoBot.
Yeah.
Like the other thing that because there was
You
GoBots,
must
it's
not
like
pass GoBot.
yeah, it's like all right, they're cheaper, but they're kind of shit. And then they come up with this idea of like, oh yeah, we'll give them like a fucking other team of interesting Transformers. And it's like, oh, what are they gonna do? Well, they're these stone guys and they're gonna turn into rocks. It's like, oh, fucking genius. You've absolutely nailed what kids are fucking interested in. Yeah, fucking rock. Literally, like
I could go out and pick up in the garden.
yeah, no, I fucking we bought one at like a fucking flea market on Bribey Island in like 1990, and like yeah, it was a guy made out of stone, and then if you made him like fold up, he was like a kind of square blue rock, and it's like, and like that's the toy. It's like that's it. It's like all right, fuck. You could have just made some GoBots that didn't look like shit. Like you could have tried that.
Oh, slow down, champ.
Because there is one GoBot that's like canonically female, but God does look like Tim Curry. And the 3 GoBots fans who I know listen to this show, because that's just what's wrong with them. They know the ones that I'm talking. They know the one I'm talking about. It was another one of those ones too, where the original, like the cartoon, I think came after the toy line. So like, there's all these like, with the toy it looks like Tim Curry, but then you buy with the cartoon it looks like Tim Curry, but you buy the toy and it's just a completely different fucking thing.
Fuck, man.
So if you've ever wanted to own transgender cyborg Tim Curry, the future provides.
It's fucking.
All hail Trog and his glorious new regime. See, like him jumping up and getting a bit of shit as a shield, it's like, alright, that's kind of interesting. I mean, the bosses aren't amazing, but that's just brawlers in general. It's always
There's
hard to
one
do an
good
interesting
boss. One good boss.
Yeah, you're right. There is one good boss.
Rest is kinda shitty.
And the weird thing is like it demonstrates like the one good boss is like, all right, yeah, you put thought into how something should interact with something else. Let me just over here coming up with rock slurs to build my ninja meter. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Any comments?
I do like how they do that thing where they demonstrate that they're all unconscious, so as not to suggest that you've murdered a bunch of rock people.
Look, fucking. We murdered everyone around.
An angry turtle mutant and a journalist committing genocide. We followed them to their home, Dimension X.
Now that I think about it, we did take the fight to them.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Krang's got it coming.
True. I hate that laser so much.
I thought I could slide under it, because like there are two dash attacks.
Yeah.
There's your standard dash attack and then a dashing slide attack.
Yeah.
The dashing slide attack goes under like the spear dude spears. It's like, alright, that's for getting like under shit. And I thought I could do that. Well, it turns out you can't. Oh yeah, so here's kind of like the final upgrade is like your SPAC attack, which gives you like a retro.
Radical mode.
Yeah, and like it increases the amount of damage you do, and that's it. So, alright.
I thought it was gonna be like the theism.
Yeah, like maybe you're faster and you can chain more attacks.
Yeah.
together, Do something, and you just can't. So,
But no, alas.
Any comments?
That's a problem is like, I think every time one of these games comes out, the tagline will be like, brawlers are back.
yeah,
And it's like,
sorta.
no, like the thing is you never let them really go away or evolve enough to come back. You just do a half-assed game and then go, hey, look, they're back. It's like, no, it's just you're riding the nostalgia wave, and the wave is just circling back around every few years. Just
Isn't there a fucking Ursula K. Le Guin book about that? There's some kind of planet based on surfing a colossal wave that migrated its way around.
I probably sounds.
It was that
sounds
or
right.
M. Banks or fucking one of them.
And this is the boss here, but one boss that actually has creativity in this whole fucking game. and
samurai
he's
robot.
immune. Like he's
Yeah.
completely immune, and it's like, okay, well, how do you damage him? There's dudes here. Maybe the dudes have something to do with it. And
dudes?
see, he teleports out, and I just immediately threw one at the screen.
Yeah.
And it
then-
worked, and
yeah.
I was like, holy shit. Like, that's actually fucking creative.
And it happens once, like 16 stages into the game.
Yeah. Never again. Because it's like, what does it make? Well, it makes it throwing them at the screen a thing. Okay. Could have that maybe been introduced at the start of the game or something? And no.
Because the screen throwing was something that happened in the original arcade game.
Yeah.
But also, it was just one of the 4 things that you could do.
Yeah.
It's not like there was any fucking... You know, these were back when, like, you were just happy that video games worked. Ideas like, hey, let's make this more fun. And it's like, hey, shut up, weirdo.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a video game. What more do you want?
It's here to eat your money.
I mean, it's this or fucking D&D. Like, that's it. Those are your options. Or a fucking choose your own adventure book. And,
Thank you. Thank
all
you.
of those, it just ends up in Pasta's butthole.
I had a Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure book.
I didn't even know they did choose your own adventures.
I don't know if it was like R.L. Stein or if it was like, you know, LL Cool J.
Like, he had a fucking idea. Like, you know, write fucking basic genre fiction for kids. He's probably rich as shit.
But R.L. Stein?
Yeah.
Is he, I mean, is he still alive?
Like, because I
Is
read
his last
all
name
of the...
is his last name really Stein or is it Steinman?
I don't know. Because I read all of the first run of Goosebumps books, and they're the same. Like, it's just...
Oh yeah, you're not ready for the sentence I'm about to read you. Robert Lawrence Stein, born October 8th, 1943,
Actually, it's called R.L. Stein.
sometimes known as Jovial Bob Stein.
What? He isn't. What the fuck?
And Eric Arthurby. What the fuck?
Is that Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Jovial Bob. I've
Jovial
never
Bob
heard that.
Does it have anything else? I've got to read more.
Does it dare explain this deranged claim? Hello, Jovial Bob. What? I mean, that doesn't flow at all, for starters.
I'm still trying to find out why it was called Jovial Bob. Like, I think that's the only
I don't
part.
think we're gonna get an explanation. I don't think an explanation for that is forthcoming. I don't think there can be an explanation for that. Like,
Oh, this has killed me. Okay, so he wrote a book in 1978. So he wrote under the name Jovial Bob Stein.
I'm almost worried to know what kind of books he wrote under the fucking pseudonym Jovial Bob Stein. Because that worries me. Like, I'm immediately thinking something that he would absolutely not want just the general
Stein
public to
wrote
consume.
dozens of humor books for kids under the name Jovial Bob Stein
Okay.
and created the humor magazine Bananas. Bananas was written for teenagers and published by Scholastic Press for 72 issues between 1975 and 1984. What was the other name they gave him? Fucking Judd Appleby. Judd Apatow. Makes sense. Eric Appleby.
You write adult books under that? Like,
I hope so.
I don't mean adult as in genitals. I just mean like as in, you know. Ooh, Wussy Whirlwind.
He wrote Siege of the Dragon Riders.
Oh god,
Dragon Queen's Revenge.
that's horny. Man. I know enough about
Attack
Dragon
on the
Queens.
King. He wrote some G.I. Joe books.
Huh.
Yeah, there's Eric Appleby.
I'm guessing there was a stretch where if you were like a basic genre fiction author, you wrote like, you know, like a novelization of a fucking Transformers episode or some shit.
I'm gonna Google why did R.L. Stein go by
I'm not gonna tell you.
They have to. It's illegal not to.
Something that just occurred in his horrible dark mind. This is the guy that gave us like a potato with vampire fangs. You don't know what he's capable of. Could be anything. Could be like a tomato with fangs. That was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
R.L. Stein facts. This is what I need. This is what I
Okay,
need.
careful, because that also sounds like something that could be all entirely made up.
Interesting R.L. Stein facts. Everyone at R.L. Stein's family still calls him Bob. As a child, he did not excel in school, getting mostly B's. He didn't like math or gym, but was good at ping pong.
I think in like the 50s, you could get away with doing ping pong in gym, you know? I think that was back when they were still categorizing that as a sport.
After graduation from Ohio State University and moving to New York City, Stein started writing children's book and humor books under the pen name Jovial Bob Stein.
What year was that? Doesn't say. Yeah, eat this health pizza. It was after he graduated, fucking.
It was like in 72 or something.
Alright. Little shredder idle off. And there comes the ball. German suplex. I like how the opening hit on all the foot plant looks like it hit him at the jump. That would just be like Krang 2 to build like an army of robots that, while not having genitals, can experience what it's like to get kicked in them. That's how your robot passes the fucking, is it sapient test, you know?
That and does it want to punch the Lubemobile kid in the face? If it does, then it's passed.
Everything does that. Scientists have detected fucking hostility coming out of a ficus tree at the being exposed to the Lubemobile kid. That's the last test Buddha gives you to see if you've reached nirvana.
Oh, I'm never gonna be.
Yes. Can you gaze upon the Lubemobile child with love?
No.
Well, the reborn you go. I'm afraid.
Can you?
I can't. I can look at him. I can't hear him. So you know, my tree only has a few leaves left on. I'm okay with that. I've made peace. Back around I go. God only knows when. You know, if I'm lucky, I'll just be like some fucking kid during the plague, and I won't have to like be around long. You
Yeah,
know?
true.
Fucking, you know, over and done with, nice and quick. Just can't hear the little fucker.
You know, and people will say, hey, you know, that's good advertising because, you know, you've been talking about it all these years, and I'll be like, yeah, I have. Have I ever once called a Lubemobile? No. Then it's not fucking good advertising, is it? I don't even know what a Lubemobile does.
It's one of those things that's like, you know, there's only so much, you know, your advertising campaign really need only explain to me that this thing exists because it's such a fundamental service that I either need or don't. It's not a want, you know? I go, yeah, I want to pay a fucking van to roll up and fiddle with the car I don't own. Like, that's, you know, there's a reality. And if you're like worried about crashing or some shit, a lot of people have RACQ cover because it's like cheaper and easier and they'll, you know. It's not like I'm gonna get that for material reasons and then be coaxed over to your product because a child I just irrationally want to bash to death.
I have never seen... I haven't even seen one in a long time.
That'll all be gone these days. It might just be drones now.
Lube drone. And it's got little pictures of the kids on it. So,
It's just a drone filled with sound bites of a child.
oh my god.
Reborn I go.
Look there, yeah, no, that if that was the last test, I would be screwed.
It was like, yeah, you kept thinking about strangling that kid. I'm like, yeah, but like, fucking don't look at me. I'm not. This isn't like just a kid. Like, I'm not just walking past a kindergarten and going, I can just throw a
Look,
bunch of fucking kids.
Buddha, you sit down, you watch that ad, back for back. You know, you watch it for a year straight, and you tell me if you do not hold ill will towards that child.
Siddhartha Gautama walked into the forest with a phone and looked at the kid on YouTube for like 40 days. Came back and was like, oh shit, there's more wheel. And you know what's off the wheel? Other wheel. whole wheel of that fucking kid.
No. I wonder what that. Can I Google the Lubemobile kid? Can I find out?
I mean, like, you know, the only justice in it is he was undoubtedly incredibly bullied at school. Like, I'd be surprised if he's not, like, you know, dead. It's like, oh yeah, look, he committed suicide when he was 15 because, like, this thing ruined his life.
Look, if he suffered, that's okay. My look. Where are they now? Kid from the 90s Lubemobile commercial. Let's go. Someone else would be thinking about this.
That's worrying. I was hoping this was going to be a fruitless fucking quest.
Fucking by Andrew Bucklow on fucking news.com.au. There are a handful of TV commercials from the 90s that everyone still remembers. The Lubemobile ad is still one of them. it had a catchy jingle and starred a little kid with a mullet in a flannel shirt who said with a lisp, that's 13, 30, 32. It's been 25 years since the ad hit our screens, and little has been heard of the Lubemobile kid since then. But that's all changed thanks to Hit Network's national night show Wakey Wakey's Denny Lakey. The fuck is that?
I'm glad I don't watch TV anymore.
Right?
I feel like it's been going crazy since, like...
Who tracked down the former child star?
I don't think that's okay. I think that should be illegal.
Turns out Lubemobile kid's name is Scott. He's now 30, works in the army, and lives in Queensland. I still want to punch him.
Like, I don't think you're allowed to hunt
I still want to punch him. Am I wrong?
Oh, God.
Yeah, right?
That's the face of someone who knows that, like, he's going to have to change his identity again. Like, that's what that is.
During his interview with Denny Lakey, Scott revealed some shocking details about the ad, including that he's faked his lisp and was never paid for the iconic commercial. Well, you got payment. That was the karmic retribution of everyone hating you. I didn't naturally speak like that, Scott said. That's probably what made it a lot funnier for me when I was doing it, a lot harder to keep a straight face. It's a lot more annoying saying it the way that I did and it gets stuck in people's heads. Luke was just 5 when a relative directed TV commercials living asked him to go to Sydney to audition for the ad. That one was meant to be an audition. We did all those takes and then we left and they started playing it on the TV. I actually didn't get paid. That's great. They literally stole it.
That's fucking nuts. Like, that's not okay.
No.
He didn't even get paid.
No. I've hated this kid for like 20 years.
Yeah, like
he didn't even get paid for it.
Yeah, and like, you fucking part of that hate is like, oh yeah, he acted like a fucking cunt and then got like $5,000 he got to spend on like, I don't know, fucking G.I. Joes. And now it just turns out that like he was exploited.
Scott told the radio host he doesn't like to bring up the fact he is the Lubemobile kid, but added that his mates love to mention it during a night out. Oh, I bet they fucking do. Because if you walked into a bar and said, hey, see our buddy over there? Yeah. He was in the Lubemobile ad. He was the Lubemobile kid.
No fucking way. Okay, I want you to give him this free drink, and then I want you to smash it over his head. He'll know what it means. Back of his head is this big cyst just because it's developed a callus from how many times people have just punched him in the back of the fucking head.
I feel like this has been
That was a journey.
the 5th time we've like Googled
I do it like
an Australian kid that has grown up and been hated. And like, it all exists. They're all finding them.
I do
Australia's
love that someone,
awful.
I love that someone was like, hey, let's hunt a child. That would be good. That kid everyone hates. Let's
bring him back into focus.
Yeah, let's strip him of his anonymity. You know, because no one thinks about what he's like as an adult. You know, no one's like, oh, I bet I hate the Lubemobile adult. Like, no one gives a shit. You know, it could just be that fucking thing. You know,
Where's the
it's
Milky
it's
Bar kid
gone.
while we're at it?
The problem is that they always cycle the Milky Bar kids. Never one kid. You know. It's not like now we're all just buying Milky Bars from this like fucking hairy old Milky Bar bro.
We should be.
The Milky Bro.
Who was the Milky Bar kid?
Any comments?
Please leave me alone.
Since the Milky Bar Kid made his debut in 1961, 10 youngsters have taken on the role. Oh, there you go.
Doesn't seem like enough from the 60s. Like, how old were they when they were retired? They had to go to Carousel.
Terry Brooke was the original Milky Bar Kid. 1961 to 1966. He revealed that people often laugh when he said he was paid £10 for his first advert. He now is a gardener at a country club in Spain and has 4 children.
I bet £10 back in those times was like enough to buy a house.
Oh, 100%.
Like that and a threepence.
Sixpence and threepence.
Non-decimal money is the funniest fucking thing.
Wait, fucking... The Milky Bar kid who came out of jail addicted to spice and died after being hit by a car on the M602.
Spice?
That's what it says.
What the fuck's spice?
I don't know.
Like, what's that a slang term for? It's gotta have it on the fucking...
That's what I'm trying to find. David was
addicted to
caught
fucking-
using spice to... What is spice?
Because all I can think is he was using, he came out addicted to fucking folding space. I love Krang's robot body. It's such a bizarre design. This big, it looks like a melted John Goodman waxwork.
I have a surprise.
What's the villain of this show gonna be? A brain who's a dick.
Grieving Mum reveals how Spice Drug turned angelic monkey bar. Milky
Did you
bar.
say monkey bar?
I did.
Fuck knuckle. Call that an Amber alert. Monkey bars are on me! What the fuck did you say? Me Milky Bar! Oh no! Fucking.
My head hurts.
That sounds like something like, a feral community has. This is a kid who seems to live on the monkey bars. Like a tent set up. Milky bars are on me. Like a sushi platter at a pedophile party.
Still haven't found out what spice is.
Any comments?
Spice. The drug notorious for its dramatic effect on vulnerable users. I'm just gonna Google spice.
This
drug.
sounds made up. It sounds like when the Upright Citizens Brigade invented a drug and called it super cool. I've never heard of spice. Granted, not all the fucking drug fads made it out to Australia. Because, it's hard.
Synthetic cannabinoids.
Oh, it was that weird fake weed. Yeah, that shit wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like exactly like the fucking nature argument of yeah, we made robot weed. What is it? Oh, it's evil. It just destroys you. So like the opposite of weed then.
Yes. By his early 20s, he was using heroin. Okay, yeah, look. I think the heroin probably did more to a blow than the other stuff. Found out he was selling his dinners in prison and his food to get spice. He had to tax slaps, which is where he gets beaten up by other prisoners and then gets put on YouTube. Your reward is you get spice.
Like this is the kind of terrorism the modern world needs, where it's like, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna dress up the Statue of Liberty. Like I think if we had enough drones and like some paper mache, we could probably get something like that going. Like I would like to just steal the Statue of Liberty.
Where would you put it? I put it in Wet n Wild. Replace the big kangaroo.
Like I feel like I'd have to find somewhere really awkward to put it, because like America would have to get it back. This is a matter of point. There's no way they'd let it just stay wherever it
In the
went.
middle
up.
of Tasmania. Because that would be very funny to have to get that out of there. Or on top of Ayers Rock.
That's what I was thinking. That was my first thought. I was like, I'm gonna plonk it on top of fucking Oda and just be like, there it goes, there it is. Or like, again, turn it into a robot like what we're looking at here. I do love Krang taking over evil Statue of Liberty.
Or
My favorite
turning it into a giant slide.
More things should be also giant slides. Like this, the way the Statue of Liberty's mouth stays like that kind of faint non-smile thing really makes me chuckle. And then it does that, but
Yeah, you could have it open up and then you come out on a big long tongue, like a big slide. Makes the noise too.
$5 to go on the slide.
They should. That's what we should do. They should have that for Nintendo World. Is they need to build a Mario 2 on the Game Boy Park, and it's just the big, the big Mario robot thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. This is when I
never
out
forget about Mario 2.
Robot's secret flaw.
Damage.
Yeah, I can just bum rush right up to its fucking chest and beat the shit out of it. Yeah, take that, brain share. Fuck you. You're like an exposed brain on a drone. That can't be safe. Like, sometimes there's those fucking kids that get born with a heart, like, outside their chest, and they gotta make them wear, like, body armor until they can fix it. I'm pretty sure if you were just, like, some loose brain, they'd probably... It's the Super Shredder.
It looks so super to me.
Yeah. I mean, the ooze is pretty cool if it can give you a fucking bitchin' outfit on top of everything else.
Well, that was just Kiss's new stage performance.
I'm Gene Simmons, and I'm here to lick some people. What
What if you ever licked people like in the front row? Who's gonna tell him no? Gene Simmons.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the front row of one of those concerts, like, pretty sure you could do almost anything to them.
Hmm.
Me gradually working out that, like, Super Shredder's just invincible. Like, hey! Stuff's not doing anything, and then he... Yeah. It's a bit of a steroid nap.
It's important.
I don't know if that's a thing actual steroids do to you.
What, make you nap?
Yeah. I don't think they do. You get like a weird tummy from human growth hormone. That's about it. The plumboism you got. It's so weird looking.
No, thank you.
Because they still have wild abs.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, just there's this, like, it just looks like a walnut with like some of a muscle guy attached. Because the abs, the ab wall just expands outward.
Yeah.
But I suppose if it's the choice between that or like the fucking testicles being ruined, to be like, alright.
I'll just pick neither. Thanks.
Just testicles.
I think like, imagine if like you could take steroids to be better at office. Like, you work in an office and it's just like, well, this steroid makes you better at office.
I suppose there's like, was it like people take Adderall and shit?
Oh yeah, there's focus things that give you like more focus and stuff, but I mean like to the level of steroids, like
Yeah.
it was like it actually like shrink your testicles, but you were the best Excel
What's
code.
office testicles though? That's what I'm thinking. It's like what?
Well, they're shaped like Clippy from Microsoft Office.
Yeah. Like your ears get smaller. Some shit. I gotta, I can't. I mean, I'm assuming it's not testicles. At no point have I thought, oh man, yeah. Take real balls to function in an office, I suppose.
Depends what you're doing in the office, I guess.
You need wild mass to change the toner.
That should be a thing, yeah. The tone beasts. They're too strong otherwise.
Yeah, changing the toner is fine. Getting the toner out of the tone beasts is a whole fucking thing. You have to have an incredible grip strength to manage the teats.
And they shriek the whole time too.
There's nothing quite as firm and chewy as beast teats.
Let me just ask fucking what's his face?
Like
Mark
if
Hamill.
Beast from the X-Men got big beast teats, I'd understand more him trying to like get rid of them. You know, like it's all the rest of it, but he's just got like honking tits. These honking blue beast teats.
Kelsey Mammoth.
That's going in the personal iconography for Keep It Classy. Is just Kelsey Grammer with just sweet tits. They're not hairy or anything. They're nearly fucking. They're just amazing. There's, you know, and they're different. Like on different days. Sometimes you got those wonderful little like, you know, bit more than a handful of C's, and other times they're those, you know, those veiny mum tits. Like, you know, but just every day, different beautiful tits.
Oh, Kelsey.
Niles.
Come milk me.
Did you mix my artificial sweetener with your transition medicine again? I have fantastic tits.
And he looks so upset about it. He's just like looking at him.
hand on his hip, just staring down like, oh,
Niles,
Yeah.
really? This is...
I have a photo shoot for the station today. What's supposed to do with this?
And yeah, we like, it was like, oh, we unlocked Casey. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Why wasn't he unlocked from the start?
Like, again, unlocking characters is great if those characters are different.
Yeah. Does he have any other story or anything or play function any different? No. Okay, then what's the point?
I do love Casey Jones just being angry guy with sports equipment.
Yeah.
This is what happens when America bans guns, is there's just Casey Jones is forced to use sports equipment and ninjas are everywhere.
This is what the world predicted.
Yeah, this is what the founding fathers warned us about.
This is what the foot fathers.
This is a founding feat.
You know, why wasn't Shredder made of feet? Why was it called the Foot Clan? He used fucking claws.
I love him. He's got a pen out. He's taking notes. He's doing legitimate temp work at Channel 6 News. Although Foot News, as it's now called. Which is gonna get you a very different audience. As dedicated, but different. Fucking foot people, man.
So yeah, the game can be... The game's beaten under 2 hours. Like, it's a worth playthrough. It's fun, but like, there's literally no replayability.
It's got the look.
Like,
But
you,
like the details of like, you've gotta, you know, really should play some of the brawlers that are fucking good.
and then you unlock arcade mode, and it's like, okay, what's that? And it's like, well, you just got to play through the game with like limited,
credits or
and it's
something,
like,
yeah.
and it's harder. It's like,
I think we died 3 times in total. Like,
But why?
yeah.
And it's just, yeah. It kind of bums me out because like there was that fan made one we played ages ago that had like fucking, it just kept going. It was like 40 plus levels.
That's
There
the
was a
thing is
bunch of
like, yeah,
things.
it's like the fucking remake of, you know, Streets of Rage 4. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, but this is competing directly with like the really good Streets of Rage remake, which is better.
Yeah. So it's just sad. So hopefully maybe, I don't know. I don't even know if we can take like that base and then maybe get a fan made like version of it. It might be
I mean,
nice.
hopefully maybe someone gets onto the open bore and like, I don't know, decides to
Every time you said you open bore, I just think of bore water. Like, fuck, man.
tastes like the earth.
Tastes like rocks.
Morlock shit.
Whew. Remember, spay and neuter your Kelsey mammals.
Keep It Classy is proudly sponsored completely by its fans. We thank you for your support.
It expanded somehow. I'll have you know.